Okay, hello. Things didn't go exactly as planned with this video, and I'm kind of making it on the fly, so bear with me. I mean, I got an image of wine bottles here. Got the camera pointed at wine bottles here, but I'm not drinking wine right now. I wish I was. I'm actually drinking a nice hot cup of pomegranate tea, and it's about 6:30 in the morning. I've been trying to find time to make my next video because time has been a rare commodity lately. I have been working 14-hour days. And so much has happened since I recorded my last video. I mean, this is actually way overdue. Honestly, I should have done an episode way before now. When I recorded my last video, I didn't even know if this trip was going to happen, to be honest. It was just kind of one of those up in the air things, like, yeah, this is something I want to do, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But I was trying. I mean, I was doing all I could. Money was just really becoming a problem, despite everything. I mean, I work full-time and I live alone, but, like, once the bills are paid and groceries are bought and all that, there's not a whole lot left. I had been looking for a second job for a while when I recorded that video, and I applied a few places and, like, nowhere would call me back. And, I mean, it's pretty obvious why. I work full-time at my job now at night, so a lot of the places I was applying were like restaurants and like small retailers, and like, when do they do most of their business? In the evening, of course. So I knew it was going to be hard, and I was getting pretty comfortable with throwing in the towel there for a while. I was starting to accept the fact that maybe this wasn't going to happen, at least not now, and I was just starting to accept it. But I figured I would make the video anyway. I mean, I actually asked for help at one point, and I don't mean like I asked someone I know to loan me money. I mean, I asked for help more on the spiritual end of things, because I'm doing this more for spiritual reasons and more for my own mental health. Oh no. Whoops, sorry about that. The camera's not on a tripod, so. But I did ask for help. You know, I looked to any higher power that was up there listening, and I said, if there's anything you got for me, please help me out. And I know plant worship is a thing, and, you know, a lot of people talk about, like, the plant spirits, and maybe that's what helped me. I don't know. But long story short, shortly after that, money just started coming out of nowhere. I had contacted an art gallery last summer around August or September. I was interested in doing a show and never heard back from them. I just figured, well, you know, they didn't like my work. I sent them a bunch of pictures of my paintings, sent them a whole letter detailing my concept and everything. I never heard back. I figured, well, they just didn't like it. I'll try again at another gallery. Well, out of nowhere, shortly after I recorded my last video, they contacted me about doing a show in February. And that was really short notice, because this was January, and they're like, hey, we want to show your work in February. And I'm like, oh my. That's really not that much time, but I also didn't want to pass up on the opportunity, so out of nowhere, I just got this gallery show. It just fell into my lap. And my show opened on Valentine's Day, which I hate Valentine's Day. I think it's like the most ridiculous holiday ever. And even though I've been in a relationship for the past 3 years, I don't celebrate it. So I thought it was kind of funny in an ironic way that my show opened on Valentine's Day. And the night of my opening, there was also a level 2 snowstorm. So it was like, oh, well, you know, nobody's going to come because everybody's going to be out celebrating Valentine's Day. And then on top of that, there's a snowstorm. So I was just pretty much expecting this to be a bust. And on top of all that, I was the auxiliary artist. I wasn't even the main artist. So, I mean, I had this tiny little wall in the back of the gallery with 7 paintings on it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know, there's going to be no real monetary success here. But despite all that, 2 of my paintings sold. And the gallery was even really surprised. The owner of the gallery kept buying me drinks and everything. I mean, and it was a packed house. I mean, the gallery was full of people. And like, even though I was the auxiliary artist, the main artist didn't have their opening that night. You know, I was the auxiliary artist, but it was still my opening. I wasn't sharing the spotlight with anybody else, and it was a packed house. And I brought home a pretty good chunk of change, and it's all going to fund the trip. So, and then that same week, one of the places I applied for called and offered me a second job, which is, and you know, that second job is the reason I'm sitting here recording a video at 6:30 in the morning and not at night when I would prefer to do it, because I'm working 14-hour days. I mean, I'm getting ready to go out the door here soon and work 14 hours. And that really sucks. And actually, it is about time for me to head out, so I guess I'm just going to have to finish this video later, I suppose. Not sure when, but it will get finished. So, to be continued. Okay, well, I'm going to do my best to pick up where I left off here. When I started this video, it was 6:30 on Friday morning. Now it is around 11 o'clock Monday night. If nothing else, that paints a perfect picture of how busy my life is lately. And also, in the first part of my video, I said that I was drinking pomegranate tea and I wish I was drinking wine. Well, now I actually am drinking wine, so... there's my glass. But yeah, I'm drinking some delicious red wine, and hopefully I can get the last half of this video done, despite being very tired from my 70-hour work weeks. Well, I mean, I think I left off basically talking about working this work schedule, and I mean, oh my god, this is grueling. I mean, as of Friday, it's been a month that I started. And I get up at 6 a.m. every morning, and I leave for work at around 7. And I start work at my first job, well, my morning job. I start work at my morning job at 7:30. And I work until 1:30. And then I start my other job, which is my primary job, like my main job. I leave my morning job at 1:30. I start my other job at 2 o'clock. And I work at that job until 10:30 at night. And then I basically come home and pack my lunch and take a quick shower and pass out. Except for on nights like tonight when I'm taking time to record this video. But yeah, I mean, this is rough, man. I mean, I just can't even... I don't want to sound like a whiner, but it is just not fun at all. I had to give up my gym membership. And yeah, oh, haha, poor baby. Had to give up your gym membership. Boo-hoo. Yeah, I mean, I know there's more important things in life than a gym membership, but considering I have issues with depression and working out and staying in good shape can help that a lot. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's back there being vocal. But working out can really help depression a lot. And I had to give up my gym membership, which, I mean, I'm sure that's one of many things that's kind of contributing to my crappy mood here of late. I mean, I can't work out anymore because I don't have time. And purely from a vanity standpoint, I've put on a few pounds. Even though I didn't really change the way I eat. I mean, I still eat the same stuff. I still eat a really healthy diet, just I eat at different times of the day now. But, yeah. And just not having any free time. I mean, I'm a really creative person, you know. I have all these great ideas for paintings in my head that I want to do, and just no time at all to do them. And, you know, that used to be a trick that I would use when I got depressed. Like, when I would start to get depressed, I would just, like, immediately go to art in my head, and I would immediately start thinking about things that I want to paint and, like, ideas I have for different projects. And now that seems kind of moot because I can think about those things all I want, and I don't have time to do them. But I do have to just keep reminding myself that this is only temporary. I mean, I'm only doing it so that I can get the money to go on this trip and do ayahuasca. And I'm really close to having my airfare. The money I made from the art show, plus a couple paychecks from my second job, I'm really close to buying my plane ticket. But, such is the nature of things so often, now that I am this close to buying my plane ticket, I read something a couple weeks ago that started making me have second thoughts. And this was something that was really upsetting. And maybe it shouldn't have been. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of interesting psychology behind why this was so upsetting. But I read a post on a forum about people whose romantic relationships pretty much crumbled after an ayahuasca experience. And, you know, I'm not one of those codependent women who can't fathom the thought of being single. I mean, I've been single before. I don't mind being single. But currently I am not single. And that scared me. Like, nothing else scares me about this, but that does, you know. I mean, I'm not afraid of puking and seeing possible terrible things and thinking I'm going to die. I mean, none of that frightens me. But losing my significant other does frighten me. A lot. I'll admit it. You know, I've been in 2 long-term abusive relationships. I grew up seeing my parents abuse each other, so that was all I knew. And when that's all you know, you get the idea in your head that that's normal. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, I remember thinking, yeah, one day I'm going to grow up and get married, and some guy's just going to beat the fuck out of me whenever he gets angry. And, you know, me and my husband are going to scream at each other and call each other names and throw stuff at each other. And I just thought that that's the way adults treated each other when I was a kid. It was a big shock to me to learn that that's not the way adults treat each other in most households. But, I don't know, I guess I was conditioned to end up in relationships like that. And I was in 2. I started dating a guy when I was in high school. And this relationship lasted until I was a sophomore in college. And it was... Actually, no, I was a junior in college. Correction. And it was a really bad relationship. I mean, he was really controlling and abusive. And then I was single for a little while, and then I married someone who was just as bad as him, if not worse. And, I mean, thank God those chapters of my life are done. Now I'm with somebody who treats me the way I deserve to be treated and loves me. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today. Who treats me the way I deserve to be treated and who loves me the way I deserve to be loved. And I really don't want to lose that. And, you know, I really don't want to... I mean, what's really terrifying for me is, okay, say that after my ayahuasca experience, I have transformed so much as a person that my significant other decides that they don't want anything to do with me anymore. and they leave, and then for the rest of my life I have to look back thinking I did this, you know? I mean, it's not like they cheated on me and I threw them out. It's not like they were an asshole and I broke up with them. I mean, I gotta look back and know that I fucked up the best relationship I ever had. And yeah, I mean, reading that post scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. And you know, maybe I spent a little too much time talking about it. Like, after doing a little bit more research and actually talking with my significant other, I don't see that happening. And if it does happen, like, if I drink and my significant other can't handle the changes in me after that, and I know they're going to be positive changes. Basically, if my significant other can't handle a better version of me, then maybe I'm better off. And, you know, I don't want it to happen. I don't want to lose them. But I just kind of have to accept that if they can't handle the new me post this experience, then maybe that's a good thing. But I don't see it going that way. I really don't. We had a couple long conversations about this. He is really supportive. He doesn't plan on participating in the ceremony, but he is really supportive. And he's seen me through some pretty bad, I don't know if I want to call them bouts, or he's seen me really depressed. He's seen me in some bad times, and I mean, I know he wants me to get better. And if ayahuasca can make me better, then he's all for it. Maybe I shouldn't have worded it as, well, if he can't handle the new me, you know, maybe I should have like more generalized that and said, well, anybody who can't handle being in a relationship with a better, happier person isn't somebody you want to be in a relationship with anyway. Because that way it doesn't sound quite so incriminating, and I'm not pointing a finger specifically at this wonderful, amazing man that's in my life. And just as I said that, he texted me. I love little synchronicities like that. I don't know if the sound picked up on the video, but my phone just went off. But I did get really scared. I mean, got really scared for a while. And, like, all I could think about was, this is something I've worked so hard to do. You know, I've sacrificed so much. I'm working 70 hours a week. I mean, I'm busting ass. And now that I'm this close to buying my plane ticket, maybe I don't want to do it. And, you know, my self-esteem was taking a serious hit. Because I was thinking, oh yeah, you know, here I was thinking that I'm this strong person who can handle this scary experience. And, you know, I can handle all the puking and all the potentially scary things I'm going to see. And, like, the changes that are going to come after. Like, I can handle all that. Then this, like, suddenly being scared. I mean, for a while I was thinking, well, you know, maybe I am not as strong as I thought I was. Maybe I'm just a pussy. And, you know, my whole family has called me a pussy since childhood, so I kind of had this, well, maybe they're right moment. I gotta be honest with anybody watching this, I feel like this is turning... I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now, and I'm talking to my video camera. So, I mean, now that I got all this money coming in, and, I mean, the trip is actually happening, I mean, this is reality, I mean, it's really happening. I wish I could record videos more frequently. Like, I had this really cool idea for my second video. It was supposed to be like a video on psychedelics in art and literature, because I'm an artist, and there's just so much. Like, I was trying to narrow it down to like what I could put in the video for talking points, and, you know, then I got this second job, and now there's just no time for that, so this is just another vlog type video. I mean, I would like these videos to get a little bit more informative and not just be me talking about my life. But having, like, rewatched my first video, I realized some of the mistakes I made in my first video. And one of them was that I never really defined what got me into psychedelics. I mean, I started talking about that and then just kind of went off on another tangent. And I think the reason I never really defined it was because there was no one definitive thing. And any drug seemed really scary when I was growing up. I mean, I grew up in the 80s during the whole Just Say No, Nancy Reagan era. And, like, I remember, and this was actually in the early 90s, but I remember being in 7th grade and watching this propaganda video about LSD, and it was a video that was made in the 70s, and we were watching it in the 90s, and it was so fucking hilarious. It was really, really funny. I mean, the whole class is just like cracking up laughing. My teacher's getting really annoyed because this is supposed to be something we're taking seriously. And I have actually tried to find that video on YouTube. I mean, I remember there was this one scene where this girl turned on the stove. She turned on the stove and, like, this beautiful flower bloomed out where the flame comes out of the stove. Like, this really pretty flower just grew out of the stove all of a sudden, and the special effects were horrible. And, of course, she just grabbed it and, like, burnt her hand, and the acting was really bad. I mean, she, like, screamed, but it was a really cheesy scream, and I've tried to find that video on YouTube. It's not on there, but I mean, I think a lot of people have seen the hot dog acid trip video on YouTube. If you haven't, you should go watch it. It's really funny. I'll post a link in the description. But yeah, that was my first impression of psychedelics, was that video. Like, this crazy video we watched when I was in 7th grade. But then, like, in the 90s when I was a teenager, there was this whole drug culture. And, you know, the 90s hippies, and, like, it went from one extreme to the other. It went from Just Say No to, and then all these hippies. There's, like, all these 90s hippies, and, you know, suddenly pot became a really cool thing to do. And, yeah, I had friends who were 90s hippies, and, you know, they talked about Timothy Leary and stuff like that. And I started getting into meditation when I was, like, 17. And, you know, once again, I don't remember exactly what got me into meditation. It was just something I started trying. I mean, I don't remember what one thing prompted it. And getting into meditation kind of segued, I mean, that interest kind of segued into my interest in LSD, which I discussed in my last video. And my art from that time kind of takes on a psychedelic vibe, too. I mean, I drew a lot of pictures of, like, mushrooms and swirly colors, and if I could find any of those, I'd dig them out and show them, maybe in future videos. Yeah, and a lot of people would, like, look through my sketchbooks and be like, oh, this looks like an acid trip. Were you tripping when you drew this? Well, no. Well, you can tell me if you were. Maybe subconsciously, and this is my theory, I mean, maybe on some subconscious level I thought that using psychedelics would make me a better artist. And I still kind of wonder if it will. I guess we'll find out. So, that is my update. Hopefully there won't be such a long space in between my next video and this one, like there was between this one and my first one. I really would like to do these more often, and, you know, I really want to get into, like, some more informative topics instead of just me talking about what's going on in my life, because I'm sure that's only mildly interesting to some of you. This is episode number 2, conclusion. If you have anything to say, email me at psychonautjourney@gmail.com or comment here. And good night. Peace.